Our next reading activity is a literature map, where you would have a table of categories such as setting, themes, symbols, questions, characters, and you would write category-related information into the appropriate cells as you read. Graphic organizers are a very common staple to teaching, and they're visual displays of relationships among ideas in a reading selection. You have everything from a story map to a web to a flowchart to a Venn diagram. We should all be familiar with a wide variety of graphic organizers and know that they're very helpful for students to organize their information. Character perspective charts allow you to view the perspective of different characters. And you basically will respond to prompts from the perspective of multiple characters, as you see in the example here. Character carousels are set up like a gallery walk around the room, and students are going to move around and record information about the characters on those charts, focusing on various aspects of characters, and they might even make predictions about characters. So a lot of analysis of character could be done in this activity. Feelings charts allow you to look at characters and how they respond to certain events in the story. So you would have the events on the left-hand side, characters' names across the top, and the students are going to record a word that describes the character's reactions to each event on the chart. Journals are a great way to respond to reading and leads to a richer understanding of the text. A double entry journal has two columns. On the left-hand side, you record a quote or paraphrase from the text, and on the right, you react to that passage. A reading log features prompts from the teacher that students respond to, and partner journals are passed back and forth between students, and they engage in dialogue about the literature with each other. Character blogs are interactive websites that serve as online journals where students assume the voice of a character and write about the experiences, thoughts, and hopes of the character as they understand them. And one blog writing service would be EduBlog that you could use for that. 10 Important Words is an activity where students identify their top 10 list of the most important words in the selection that typically capture the most significant ideas. And then they're going to compare their word choices with others in the class, finalize their top 10 list, and write a one-sentence summary of the passage. The next activity is Pack the Suitcase, where students identify key ideas from the text as they read, and then they pack their suitcase, which is an envelope, with about a dozen pieces of paper. Their quotes or paraphrases are going to be the most important points of their text, and then they're going to have to meet with other classmates and discuss their selections, and in the end will eliminate about half. So this is really an activity that forces them to determine the most important information from a text. Now we're going to move on to post-reading activities, where you're going to encourage personal responses, stimulate thinking about ideas from the text, identify meaningful information, promote reflection, facilitate organization, analysis, and synthesis, and share and build interpretations of the text, and prompt connections. Literary report cards is an activity where students give grades to characters based on the subjects for which they are going to be graded, like personality traits. And this allows students to reflect on the character and give grades for those subjects, citing evidence to support the grades that they give. Powerful passages is where students identify compelling or interesting passages from the text and give reasons for their choices. These could be shared orally or written on paper or even electronically on a discussion board. Teachers could also direct students to find certain types of passages based on setting or theme or conflict between characters. 3D responses is where students create a 3D representation of what they've read, using either Play-Doh or even aluminum foil. And the sculpture should capture an idea, feeling, event, character, or key point from the text, such as this skull that could be a representation from Hamlet. Dramatic responses are another fun activity for students to participate in, where they depict characters, actions, or ideas from the text. They're going to work together to recreate, explain, or extend a scene from the text. Plays are the most common form where they act out a scene, but you also have a tableau vivant, which is a frozen scene that captures a significant moment or idea, and students represent it with their bodies and create a statue. And so you see that here in the example of Seurat's famous pointillism painting that's been recreated by the people above. You could also do a special report news broadcast that shares commentary about an event, character, or idea in the format of a special report. And even a talk radio show where a student assumes the role of a character and responds to listeners who call in with questions or comments. Multimedia responses are a great way to support development of 21st century skills, and this is where students use a variety of technologies and text, audio, still images, video, and animation to create a presentation in response to their reading. Book trailers give students an opportunity to produce a 1 to 2 minute video promoting the book that they have read. The book trailer should hook the viewer without giving away too much about the story. It should include images, text, narration, and music, and being careful not to violate copyright. And you can use Movie Maker or iMovie to create book trailers. Internet investigations are where students research about real events, people, places, or other information that are basically questions they come up with while they're reading. Fiction and nonfiction can cause them to have questions, so students should be given the opportunity to find the answers. They can share their questions and brainstorm search terms with their classmates. And so after you've read and you've done all these activities to promote understanding and build literacy, you want to move on to writing, which facilitates exploration of ideas from the text, fosters reflection of the text, encourages creative expression, prompts purposeful use of language, cultivates appreciation of others' ideas, prompts revisiting of literature, promotes personal understanding of reading and writing, because reading and writing go hand in hand and are directly related to literacy. One form of writing is poetic responses. This is a form of expression where students can share their feelings about a reading selection. And you have 3 different structured types of poetic responses. Found poems use language straight from the text. I am poems follow a specific frame in which students select a character and write each line of a poem in the voice of that character. And you have an example of that format here. Where I'm from poems are very similar to that, and they write a poem about the elements of a character's heritage and life. Literary borrowing is where students borrow a character from a literary work, or they may also borrow a plot and change the details to write their own story. And a lot of common text structures that fall into this category are alphabet books, counting books, or various pattern books. Genre translations are where students change a work from one genre to another. They translate a prose to a poem or a script, or vice versa. And that emphasizes the understanding of content as well as understanding of text structure and language. Multi-genre responses are a collection of different genres of writing composed in response to a literary work. It might contain journal entries, drawings, photographs, lists, poems, letters, resumes, etc. Each element is self-contained and makes a point of its own, but each piece is connected by a theme or a topic, or sometimes by language, images, or content. And so once you have done your writing, Students have the opportunity to construct a book that will share their writing with others. And these books can serve as excellent advertisements in classrooms and libraries to build literacy throughout the school. Pop-up books are eye-catching and easy to construct. Accordion books are easy to display. Each student composes a page of the book, and they're lined up and tied together or taped together, and these books might stand freely on the counter or folded for placement on a shelf. Fold-up books open like a conventional book, but they're created by folding and cutting a single sheet of paper. Specific instructions are listed on the pages in the textbook here, or you could find those on the internet. Slit books are simple and clever and are very popular among students. And you can also find specific instructions on this page of the book. Retelling picture books are where students retell stories using characters attached with a string that can be moved throughout the pages of the book. Graduated pages books are especially useful for making reference type books because the pages can be flipped to quickly. The tabs can be labeled to identify the information that's on each page, and they can be constructed to open upwards or to the left. And here you have an electronic creation tool at readwritethink.org. Baggie books are reusable because they use Ziploc bags. The pages are made from cardstock paper, and then you just tape the bags together on the bottom edge. Digital books are very popular. You have multiple websites to choose from, and this is an opportunity for students to interact with and create their own digital books featuring text, pictures, narration, and background music. And this gives them the opportunity to share their writing beyond the walls of the classroom. So in the end, reading and writing activities should support students' thoughtful responses to and analysis of literature as they work to formulate their ideas, consider language and text structures, and write for genuine purposes and for real audiences. And so as we close today, I hope you've enjoyed this information and you're able to take away some activities that you can use in your own classroom to build and integrate literacy into your curriculum. Thanks for joining us today.